Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today with an article from The Federalist. This is dated April 7th, and I got to be careful with this title because we're very early in the video and YouTube doesn't like when you say certain things. But it says, survey, 55% of self-identified leftists say removing Trump from this mortal coil is justifiable. So we'll call it that right now, and as we get into the article more, we can probably say that word, but I don't want to say it anyway. It says, the more troubling trend is the rising violent rhetoric isn't coming or just coming from the fringe left. It's being normalized by the left. Ain't that the truth? They are getting more extreme, as every poll seems to show. It says, the unhinged left, fueled by Trump derangement syndrome and seething hatred for Elon Musk, or Elon derangement syndrome, so you have TDS and EDS, is trending more violent, according to a new study that finds political violence targeting President Donald Trump and his billionaire advisor is becoming increasingly normalized. This is the report produced by the Network of Contagion Research Institute, or NCRI, in partnership with Rutgers University's Social Perception Lab, finds a broader assassination culture appears to be emerging within segments of the U.S. public on the extreme left, with expanding targets now including figures such as Donald Trump. So less than a year after assassination attempts on then-presidential candidate Trump and the literally explosive violence against Musk's Tesla electric vehicles, it's no secret that leftists are ratcheting up violent rhetoric and actions. Well, that's what communists do. Okay, they don't have de-escalation; they just escalate. It says the more troubling trend is that an assassination culture isn't just coming from the fringe left. It says these attitudes are not fringe. They reflect an emergent assassination culture grounded in far-left authoritarianism and increasingly normalized in digital discourse, states the report, titled Assassination Culture, How Burning Teslas and Killing Billionaires Became a Meme Aesthetic for Political Violence. So this section here says widespread justification for lethal violence. It says NCRI, an independent institution working to identify and forecast emerging threats in the era of information disorder, finds the pattern in building on a broader trend discussed in two reports in December that analyzed how viral social media narratives were legitimizing political violence, particularly in the aftermath of the United Healthcare CEO's assassination. And make no mistake, that was a murder. Anybody justifying that, you're stupid and you should be locked up. Okay, you're the bad guy. I don't think you shouldn't be locked up, but you're the bad guy. Okay. The reports found widespread justification for lethal violence, including assassination among younger, highly online, and ideologically left-aligned users, the authors of the latest study write. They note the spillover effect beyond the online world, illustrated by a proposed California ballot measure macabrely named the Luigi Mangione Access to Healthcare Act, which is just an abominably named thing, celebrating the alleged leftist terrorist and murder of United Healthcare head Brian Thompson. The ballot measure targets health insurance denials, one of Mangione's reported flashpoints. Okay, he's the bad guy. If there's any part of you that's going, hey, I had a disability claim denied, I need to go, off the head of the entire company, like, you're the problem, okay? This isn't, like, really a debatable thing. Okay, you're the bad guy, and you need to get right with God. On Friday, a California man reportedly angry with pharmacies, I heard about this as well, was arrested on charges of murdering a Walgreens employee just days after the Luigi Mangione Act was filed with the state. ABC 30 reported that Eric Velasquez, the victim, was not a pharmacist and was a respected husband and father of two. So, along with the United Healthcare CEO, these people killed fathers of young children who now get to grow up fatherless because you decided that you couldn't control your misplaced rage. Okay, so good job, guys. And here's a little bit of a chart here showing some things. And that's the NCRI data. It says the NCRI accessed the violence zeitgeist with original survey data and open source intelligence analysis to determine how normalized and justified violence against the administration has become in public discourse. It says the findings signal a threat to political stability and public safety, the report warns. Here are some of the troubling numbers according to the report. It says murder justification. 31% and 38% of respondents stated it would be at least somewhat justified to that word, MDR, Red Rum, Elon Musk, and Donald Trump, respectively. As these effects were largely driven by respondents that self-identified as left of center, with 48 and 55% at least somewhat justifying the Red Rum for Elon Musk and President Trump, respectively, indicating significantly higher justification for violence against these figures. It says property destruction. Nearly 40% of respondents, it was at 39.8%, stated it is at least somewhat acceptable or more to destroy a Tesla dealership in protest. No, it is not. That is violence. You're bad. But again, this is what communists do. So psychological / ideological correlations with assassination culture. It says these beliefs are highly correlated with one another, as well as with the justification of the murder of the United Healthcare CEO and hyper-partisan left-wing ideology. So this suggests that support for violence is part of a broader assassination culture underpinned by psychological and ideological factors. Interestingly, the report finds liberal social media platform Blue Sky, which is a hive from everything I've seen of just scum and villainy, says Blue Sky plays a significant and predictive role in amplifying radical ideation. Blue Sky has seen its new user numbers surge since November's election, according to the leftist publication The Guardian. Curiously, the great exodus, get it, has been driven by liberals seeking to escape Elon Musk's X amid warnings from anti-hate speech campaign groups and the EU about misinformation and extremism on the platform, The Guardian asserts. NCRI also found that users are increasingly tying the memification of Mangione with calls for political violence against Trump. Trump, Musk, and others. Sorry, I had to swallow there. My seems like I'm having some issues here. It says, but reflecting the growing cyber social presence of assassination culture, says Mangione supporters have been using a meme of the Luigi character from the Super Mario Bros. Video game / movie franchise as a symbol of political violence. Some of the threats echo the deny, defend, depose mantra inscribed by Mangione on the shell casing that killed Brian Thompson, according to the report. And here's some unhinged people saying to go do those things that we're mentioning. It says, we will gut you in this section. So pleasant people all around. It says, in February, law enforcement officials charged 28-year-old David Allen June Cherry, that's a heck of a name, of southern Indiana with felony intimidation after police say he posted online multiple violent threats against Elon Musk, including that Cherry would gut the close advisor to President Donald Trump. Says, you've broken the law. You're on the hit list, Cherry allegedly declared on the Musk-owned social media platform X to a Musk post, according to an affidavit. What laws has he broken? Okay. Describe in detail. Use your words. Okay, I know it's hard for you leftists at times, but you don't just get to say something and it's just true, because this is a fantasy. But I want you to name what law. And it says, he also says here, you're robbing American people. How? What is he doing? He's not doing that, but I want you to tell me in your words what he is doing. Says, we will gut you and parade your corpse in the streets. Wow, how very, I'm not going to say it. Says, the leftists allegedly menaced Musk a short time later. Sounds very, you can say, Middle Eastern of you. We'll go with that. Says, Indiana State Police tracked Cherry at his job at Batteries Plus and arrested him, according to news accounts. Detectives reportedly seized an AR-15 style rifle, a handgun, ammunition, and a ballistic vest at his Palmyra home, according to Fox 7. Cherry, who reportedly runs an online business selling anti-Musk merchandise, including an anti-oligarch patch with what appears to be an image of a raised arm Musk in crosshairs, told officials he merely wanted to make his post edgy to spur social media reactions and that he meant Musk no harm. Well, they're going to take it seriously, dude. If you're threatening a close advisor to the president, regardless of who the advisor is and who the president is, the cops are probably going to pay you a visit if you say something like this, and they don't care if you meant it or not. Okay? That's just how life works. It says he was released on a $2,500 bond and faces the potential of 6 years in prison on the felony counts while he continues his hate campaign against the billionaire founder of Tesla and SpaceX. His trial is set for August, according to court records. It sounds like he probably will end up in prison just from my barely knowing anything about this, but what I just saw on here. So Cherry appears to be celebrating his alleged intimidation game on his Red Pawn Dynamics page. It says, let it be known that red pawns scare the richest man on the planet. What a giant pussy, the webpage boasts. He probably doesn't even know you exist, dude. You got charged with a crime because you committed one, you absolute moron. It says his GoFundMe page has raised $4,500 of $15,000 goal, supposedly for legal fees and to get his car out of impound. I don't think GoFundMe allows it for like felony charges. So somebody may want to look into that. Okay. Does his supporters claim the First Amendment protects Cherry's speech? No, it doesn't. Not in this case. That he's being persecuted because his opinion was without ability. Nope. You communists are retarded. Okay. That violent threats are not free speech. If you're threatening somebody's life, as this guy had, that is not free speech. It never has been free speech. Okay. And no one cares if it was about a billionaire. If Elon Musk was some dude living in a cave in the middle of like a mountain in Kentucky, okay, and he happened to be a close friend of Donald Trump and he threatened him, it would be the same exact thing, but you guys are too stupid to understand that. It says too far down the deep end. It says Musk reportedly has been the target of a growing number of threats over his leadership role in Trump's Department of Government Efficiency and is pledged to trim $2 trillion a year from the bloated, wasteful, and fraud-plagued federal budget. The Tennessee man reportedly upset with Trump and Musk was arrested on charges of assembling explosives to burn down Musk's artificial intelligence data facility in Memphis. Ethan Paul Early, 25, told police that his friends talked him out of going through with the plan. Well, good on his friends. Says he said he had gotten too wrapped up in politics and had gone too far down the deep end, according to the affidavit KBTX reported. A recent Fox News analysis found that there have been more than 50 reported targeted attacks on Tesla EVs, dealerships, and charging stations in the U.S. and at least 17 internationally. So the incidents range from minor vandalism, such as keying or graffiti, to more extreme cases like arson and drive-by shootings allegedly targeting Tesla vehicles, the news outlet reports. These people don't seem to understand that they're going to end up, hurting an innocent person, and then it's going to be a lot worse for you if that happens. Doesn't matter where it happens, it's going to be a lot worse, okay? So I would suggest just knocking it off now, okay, before things get worse, because it will, and it's going to be your fault, and you guys are going to do what you always do and play the victim. Okay, it says Trump, who was shot and narrowly escaped being assassinated at a Pennsylvania campaign rally in July, is a constant target of threats from members of the unhinged left. On Friday, Jupiter, Florida, police arrested Glenn DeSico, I don't think I'm pronouncing that right, and sorry about that, on charges of making written threats on his Facebook page to off President Trump. It says the Jupiter Police Department worked in coordination with the United States Secret Service throughout the investigation, the press release states. Like, it's one of those things that's just, you hear this from when you're a kid, that you cannot threaten the President of the United States without getting a visit from the Secret Service, yet these people just think, I can go and do that, and nothing's going to happen. Then they do like what we already read this article and claim free speech, when it's like, no, no, that's not. It says real-world escalation. The NCRI report on the growing assassination culture notes support for such political violence on the right, but the prevalence is not nearly as large. As though this report points to disturbingly high levels of support for political violence, particularly targeting President Donald Trump and Elon Musk, the authors write. Across survey responses, nearly one-third of respondents and a significantly higher share of left-leaning respondents expressed some degree of justification for acts of lethal violence. As while threats and acts of violence rise on the left, the silence from Democrats in power is deafening. Yeah, I haven't heard a thing of them trying to say, like, yeah, that's not a good idea. But we've seen this movie before. Spoiler alert, it doesn't end well for a lot of innocent people. Attorney General Pam Bondi has rightly called the spate of attacks against Tesla nothing short of domestic terrorism, because that's what it is, and yeah, I would 100% agree with that. It's just like the myriad acts of domestic terrorism by the left during the Black Lives Matter rise at the end of Trump's first term. Says for the last 5 years, the violent left has run rampant with few consequences for the chaos it has sown, Carol Markowitz recently wrote in the New York Post. Says the NCRI report includes a stark warning. Says unless political and cultural leadership explicitly confronts and condemns this trend, NCRI assesses a growing probability of real-world escalation, the report concludes. I would agree. Says given the current economic volatility and institutional distrust, the online normalization of political violence may increasingly translate into offline action. So, yeah, I think that's kind of on the way. So, what do you think about this? I mean, I'm not surprised that it's the left doing it, because, I mean, that's basically all we've seen for the last few years, the left just going after everyone and everything they possibly can, and they just don't think anything's going to happen because Biden didn't try to pursue anything. But now there's a different sheriff in town, or a new sheriff in town, and they're actually going to go after these people, and good, they should. So let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Please like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.